Welcome, my friends, to another amazing episode of the Fit Life Orange County podcast. And before I tee up today's guest, I want to give you a friendly reminder to give us a like, give us a subscribe on YouTube, and write us an amazing review on iTunes. That way we can keep producing this content for you for free. So now to introduce today's guest, who's a dear friend of mine since 2014. She started as a client transformation for the period of last 8 years, and now has turned fitness coach and impacting our community's lives in a major way. And today you're going to learn the biggest fit loss tip to lose 40 pounds, but ultimately to create a mind-body connection. So excited for the interview. Welcome, Coach Kathy Foster, to the show.
Welcome to the Fit Life Orange County, a show dedicated to busy men and women focused on taking back control of their fitness and their lives with the help from ideas and programs from local experts here in Orange County. Here are your hosts, Bryce Henson and Jade Stewart.
Coach Kathy Foster, welcome to the Fit Life Orange County show. We're super excited to have you.
Well, thank you. I'm super excited to be here.
All right. Well, you've been a longtime friend, longtime client, trained at a couple Fit Bodies, which is incredible. So you have a long history of Fit Body Bootcamp. And, from a client perspective, from a coaching perspective, first, just want to open it up and kind of talk about you and your fitness, story and transformation, if you will.
Okay, sure. Well, I just turned 60 years old a couple months ago. I know it doesn't even seem possible. And I'm from the Midwest, and growing up in the Midwest in the 70s and the 80s, a lot of casseroles and cream corn. So I wasn't really raised in that healthy of an environment. It wasn't a huge thing growing up. We were always very active, but it wasn't a part of my lifestyle, and it wasn't a part of my mindset. Just went through the Midwest, got through college. I knew, I knew about fitness, but again, it wasn't really a part of who I was until I had my kids. I have twin boys that are 18. I became a stay-at-home mom, and I knew I just needed to do something to be an older mom and to keep up with them. And I also just needed some peace of mind. I needed time to be, an individual and not be a 24/7 mom. So I started running. And we have hills here, so I would run the hills. It was great for my mental workout. I enjoyed it, got a good workout. But I just wasn't seeing any results. I wasn't seeing, the firmness coming. I wasn't seeing, the way I wanted to look or to feel. And I had a girlfriend, and she said, "Hey, I got this Groupon to this local gym. Would you want to try it out with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I bought the Groupon, went to a Fit Body one morning with her, and that was all she wrote. From that point forward, I've been 8 or 9 years ago, I became a Fit Body client.
Yeah, and I was going to say that was probably sometime around 2013 or 14, if you can remember.
Yeah, I think 2014, right in that area. I walked in those doors.
And the rest is history, huh?
The rest is history.
So talk to a little bit about your client experience. So what's boot camp like, and kind of from that experience, and because our audience are interested in health and wellness and fitness and taking that next step. So we'd just love to hear a little bit of your story from a client perspective.
So, and that is how I approach things actually most of the time. Even in my coaching, I come from it as a client. First and foremost, because that's my frame of reference. So my client experience was, I walked in those doors and I really didn't know what to expect. I'd done boot camps before in the past. I'd done personal training. Like I said, I would run. So I had an idea of what to expect from a exercise perspective. I didn't have an idea of what to expect from a personal perspective. So when I walked in those doors, I was welcomed. I felt like I walked home. I felt like I walked into my home. I was immediately greeted. I was welcomed with open arms. I was made to feel comfortable and not intimidated. I believe, Coach Jen was my first coach, and, you can't ask for something better than to walk into an environment where you immediately feel like I belong here. The clients there were opening to me. They taught me the way. I love the group portion of it because I never felt like I was like on display, and I never felt like it was just me. The clients instructed me and helped guide me through the entire process. So once that kicked in, and once I felt comfortable with the format, I just went from there. So from a client, and it was easy. It wasn't something that was a struggle. I could understand it. I could learn quickly. The station setup every day, the boards being outlined. There was never any question as to what was kind of expected of me that day. And if there was a question, there was always somebody there to answer. So like I said, I never felt out of place. I never felt like it was more than my level could take at that moment. And then when I did start progressing, there was always a support system there for me to progress with. So, when I walked in, I was probably 35, 40 pounds heavier than I am. I knew, I got the basics down relatively quickly. And then as you get the basics down, you want to progress within that and become even better at what you're doing. And the staff there and the coaches and the clients, once again, were always there to help support me in that journey.
That's incredible. And my next question, Coach Kat, was going to be, what sort of results did you achieve? But you talked about 30, 40 pounds, and it's interesting. We're shooting this in end of 2022, and I just know you as this fit lady with full vibrancy. But when I look at your before picture back in 2014 or 15, you just look very different. So can you talk a little bit about the result you experienced as a client over the years?
Yeah, and it was it was something for me that I didn't even go in, Bryce, thinking that this was something I wanted. It wasn't, I had a weight loss goal in mind, or it was a very gradual, organic type of a transformation. I saw myself getting stronger physically. And with that, then I could do more weight. And then with more weight, I could do more reps. And so as I got stronger and as things began to get, again, as I progressed in my fitness, I saw the results then, and I saw the weight loss, and I'm like, well, I like this. This is starting to feel good. I went from a size, I think I walked in, I was a size 12. I was down to an 8 or a 10, and I actually really liked it at that point. And then I just started making small modifications to my diet. Nothing huge. It wasn't drastic. I didn't go in and say, okay, I'm no longer ever going to do this, or I'm no longer ever going to do this. So I just kind of backed off a little bit on breads and cheeses. And I saw results with that. And I'm like, okay, I like this. And then the big turn for me was I really incorporated water into my lifestyle from the time I woke up in the morning until the time I went to bed. I probably drink about a gallon of water a day. I stay hydrated. It keeps me energetic. It keeps me going. It keeps me, mentally acute. So water to me was a big thing. And then I just, consistency too of working out. I never didn't, unless I was on vacation or I was ill or something along those lines, I never didn't at least get 3 workouts in a week. I always went from 3. Most of the time I got 4 to 5 workouts in a week. And that's doable. It was something that it wasn't like, oh God, I gotta go work out. It was like, it was just, that time was my time. It was time for me to walk in the door and do what I love to do. And I think the big part of Fit Body for me was, it was never a chore. It was always fun to walk in the door. It was always fun to be a part of that environment, that vibe, that energy. So it wasn't hard to do.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. It's just incredible. It warms my heart. And really, for outside eyes looking in, to kind of recap from my perspective, I mean, the program is challenging. You continue to push yourself. But really what I heard from you is the welcoming atmosphere, the incredible coaches, how things were, simply explained. So while the exercises were challenging, you could progress yourself over time. They were easy to understand, and that really empowered you, not only from a coaching perspective, but also from a client perspective. And, everyone's a little bit different, has their own journey. You came in looking just for a better better health and fitness space, maybe not an aggressive goal, but you kept on progressing one foot in front of the other, and you got your fitness and your body became stronger, and then you made some tweaks with your nutrition, and before you know it, you're just this different person, looking different, in incredible shape, have this vibrancy, and just really well done, and warms my heart from a client perspective. Now, transitioning, most of your career has been from a client perspective, but in 2021 you reached out to Tatiana and I and just said, hey, I have some interest in coaching. And both of us knowing you, being an incredible person, and a firm belief from a coaching perspective, you really can't treat the person, the personality. They have to care, they have to have compassion, they have to love people first and foremost, which you do in spades, and then we can teach the fitness. So for us, it was just a very easy decision. But really, from your perspective, Coach Kathy, why did you express interest in coaching? And then can you talk a little bit about coaching? What are the most fulfilling parts of coaching? Maybe some of the challenging parts of coaching as well.
Yeah, sure. It is something. So to go back, as I was a client and as I watched the coaching, I was always so inspired by those coaches. I don't know how to say this because we talk about fitness and we talk about the exercises, and they were always challenging. For me, it was much more of a connection. So and what I mean by that is, it became personal. It was a connection. This became not just my fitness home, but it also became my, inspiration home. It also became my sanity home some days. So it served multiple purposes for me as a person. It didn't start that way, but it definitely grew into something more than just a fitness journey. And with that, as I was watching the coaches, like I said, they were very inspirational to me. And they all had their own unique gifts. Some were very strict and focused. Others were more social. Others were more mechanical, and they understood the mechanics of the exercise. Some were more, I guess that would be, basically along those lines. So from each coach, I could see something and extract what I needed. And because there was, different coaches on different days, there was always something else that I grabbed from there. I say every time I walked out of a fit body, I walked out better than when I walked in. And whatever I was hitting on that day, I always walked out stronger or more mentally acute or something along those lines. And I knew that I wanted to do the same thing for other people. I didn't know what my gift was going to be. But I knew that I wanted to be able to do that with other people as well. And so actually, before I even started coaching, I started a little group outside of 5 women at the park and said, hey, would you be interested in joining me and helping, doing a little mini boot camp at the park? And Bryce, I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, seriously, no clue. And I was like scared to death. And I did it for a couple months. And I kind of got the bug there, and I'm like, okay, I obviously need some more training, and I need to understand this, but this is something I think I could be good at. So that's when I approached. In fact, I can remember walking up to Tatiana in the parking lot, and she's like, hey, and I'm like, hey, and we made that connection, and we just, we went from there. And that was it. That's all she wrote. Here I am.
There you are. Well, that's incredible. And it's interesting. I always teach this to our franchisees across the board. We're not in the transactional business. And, there's many transactions that happen in life and business, and that's just part of the process. But really, we're in the relationship business, and in your words, the connection business. And I heard that come up a few times over. And really, that's what it is, from connecting with the clients, connecting with yourself, connecting with our coaches. And I think there's a lot of value there.
What's up, my friend? Coach Bryce here. Now, you might know me as the co-host of this podcast and the owner of Mission Viejo Fit Body. But what many people don't know is that I began my journey as a fitness transformation story. You see, circuit training and nutrition coaching absolutely changed my life after being overweight with a diet of mainly fast food in my late teens. Now, upon my fitness transformation in early 2007, yes, I gained a much better physique as I was overweight and lacked lean muscle. But way more than burning fat and building lean muscle, I increase my confidence, my energy, and my vibrancy to live life. And it's for these reasons that many people join our boot camp. In fact, with our Ultimate Transformation Program, we guarantee that you'll lose at least 15 pounds in 12 weeks, or your program is free until you do. Now go ahead and visit our website at missionviejofitbody.com. Now thanks, and back to the show.
Tell us a little bit about your experience. Like, what's been the most rewarding part of your coaching experience? And it's been, 6+ months now, so not a ton of time, but you're progressing. And what's maybe one or two of the biggest challenging aspects of being a coach?
I will say every day I learn something new. I either see something that needs to be corrected, or I see something that I excel at, that I can grow. But I will say the most challenging thing for me, and I'll be really frank, I was scared to death that first couple weeks. I didn't know if this was a good decision. I was outside my comfort zone. I have no problem interacting with people, but to do something that I haven't been, it's not my training. I didn't go to college for this. To put a mic on and to be in front of people trying to teach them, I was scared. There's no doubt. So the first 2 weeks, I really questioned, is this something that I should be doing? And so the most rewarding part, Bryce, for me on that level is I pushed through that. I pushed through those insecurities. I know. And I'm, to this day, that's probably one of my most proudest moments. I can remember that breakthrough session. I can remember when I got out there and go, I'm either going to do this or I'm not. And so I put that mic on, I found my mojo, and I said, all right, this is it. I'm doing this. And I had the best time of my life. And I said, okay, it wasn't perfect. I forgot the warm up to begin with. And it wasn't, but I said, no, this is fun. I got this. This is something I can definitely see myself, doing. And then from there, I just kind of went, each time I went out there, and each time, whether I was the mat coach, the floor coach, or the mic coach, I would take something out of it and I would learn. And so, like you said, it's still relatively new to me. It's been 6-7 months. But just today I was coaching and I there's takeaways from that I was like, okay, I need to focus on this, or I need to warm up before the demo. That was my big takeaway. Little things like that.
But always learning and growing. And
always learning.
But to that fact, it's so interesting, Coach Kat, like on the mats today, I mean, your energy, you're welcoming, your low coaching stance, you're pumping people up, you're correcting form. In a very short period of time, you've made a really big impact. So it's really inspiring. Really inspiring. And the connection point is just, you can't teach that. You really can't teach that, and having a genuine care. And that really is the source of inspiration that people need to kind of take that next step, because we all have self-doubt. We all have concerns. And when you show up the way you do and really help our clients, help our team, it makes all the difference. So
thank you.
So speaking of making all the difference, and you might have maybe a coaching experience of this, or it just could be some fellow clients that you've seen and experienced, but can you think of, maybe one or two memorable transformation stories, of your friends or clients that you've seen just, in your many years working with FitBody?
Honestly, Bryce, I have to look at more collectively. There are a couple that stand out in my head as far as, mainly from a client perspective. People that walk in that are intimidated, they're nervous. I see it more from the development of not so much the physicality of working out, but from the mental changes, from the I can't do this to I'm a rock star. And I've seen that time and time again. I've seen mainly women come in, especially in my age group, the 45 plus, and they'll come in and they'll say, I haven't worked out in years. I've been at home with the kids, or I've been working this. I don't know if I can do this. And you just see kind of in their body language, that this is a little overwhelming to them, or they're not sure of themselves. And then to watch them grow from that first session into just a couple months down the road where they're getting, they're grabbing I can think of 3 or 4 women right off the top of my head, grabbing the heavier weights, pushing themselves, coming in early to stretch, making friends that, we all kind of gravitate towards a certain group when we get there. And so watching just that on that level has been really rewarding. I don't have like one person that I've seen come in and I've followed through, other than myself. But there's definitely been, I see the women grow in themselves and become confident and become self-assured. And that's really what I get a lot of satisfaction out of.
Totally. Well, I have one more last question before we shift to the lightning round. And really, it's a coaching question, but really, I also want to look at it from you to look at it inwardly as well, because you've been a client achieving results. But typically, it's like, out of all your experience from coaching clients or observing clients or being with clients, what are the one or two most common, I guess, commonalities of things that drive success? So really, you can look back at your own experience. And, I heard you saying that pretty much consistency over the course of the journey, 3 times a week. I mean, those are a couple things I heard, but what would maybe be a couple other recommendations that you have from your own experience that you've seen other people have success with?
This is, for me, my fitness changed a lot, and I don't know if I'm going to explain this right. When I looked at my fitness, or when I was there, I took it from quantity to quality. And what I mean by that is, when I started to really focus on form, when I started to focus on taking my time, and I didn't have to push out 30 reps. If I did 15 really well and focused on form and asked the coaches, I said, I'll never forget, one day I was doing a plank, and I was so proud I could do a 2-minute plank. Coach Jen came up to me.
That's a big deal, 2-minute plank.
Yeah. Until Coach Jen came up and said, Kat, I'm going to make a couple adjustments to this plank. And she made a couple adjustments, little things that I wasn't doing right. And I lasted about 30 seconds.
Touché.
And I'm like, but I was doing it right, Bryce. I was doing it. She showed me the right way to hold my body, to hold my core. And that made all the difference in the world. And then I started building on that. And so for me, it was more about learning. So yes, now I'm showing up, and yes, I'm doing the exercise. Now I want to do them right. And so that's what I like teaching too. That's like what I like coaching. Yes, you're doing a great bicep curl, but now let's take it and make it into an effective and an efficient bicep curl. And just taking those people from the beginning stages of it and pushing. So for me, again, it was more learning the quality of fitness, not so much just the quantity. Does that make sense?
It's an incredible takeaway, and I think it's just the value of what we do at Fit Body, because it really is a personal training program in a group setting. Most people come in and to other programs or big box gyms, and they have no idea what they're doing, and the quantity is the big focus. But to your point, slow it down, get coaching, do the form correctly, which the value of, we have awesome coaches like you and the other coaches on our team that can provide that guidance, and that's really where long-term success happens. So it makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah.
All right, Coach Kathy, you've been gracious with your time. We still have a few more minutes to the lightning round. This one, my first question, it really could be from a client or a coaching perspective.
Okay.
But what was one of the biggest benefits, or what has been one of the biggest benefits that you've received by being part of Fit Body, whether being a client or a coach, that you had no idea that you would receive that benefit before walking in the doors the first time in 2014?
Again, I'm going to try and it was the mind-body connection that I didn't understand to the degree that I understand it now. And by that, what I mean is I could walk into a Fit Body and be kind of down maybe, or my headspace was a little off, or a lot off. And working, being physical cleared my mind. And then if I walked in, and also my mind would make me physical. I mean, it was just such a connection. It was such it truly was. When I finally figured out, it's like, oh my gosh, there's this huge mind-body connection that I was completely unaware of that has transformed me. So I go in there not just to be strong and fit and toned. I go in there to clear my mind, to be focused, to be kind and gentle, to let all the garbage of life stay outside and come in, and this is my place. This is where I can just enjoy 30 minutes of my life and make that connection and do some just some mind body cleansing.
Love it. That's incredible value. Next question. What would be your favorite healthy meal? And the flip side, being a fitness coach, because let's face it, we all have our, I guess, guilty pleasures. What's your favorite cheat meal or unhealthy meal?
I will say my favorite is more of a category. I love Mediterranean food. So we have a really good restaurant here, and I'll go in and I'll have chicken kebabs with a vegetable kebab and a little hummus on the side. And it tastes wonderful, and it's really healthy, and that's my go-to for that. My most unhealthy, and let me try and think. It would be crab legs with drawn butter. I will mow those down. I don't need anything else. Just put a big plate of steamed crab legs in front of me with drawn butter, and see ya.
Good to go.
Good to go.
Huge Mediterranean fan, so with you there. And I'm a sugar guy, not a butter guy, but hey, it sounds good in the grand scheme of things. How about movement perspective? What's one of your favorite exercises that we do at boot camp? And then what's one of your least favorite exercises at boot camp?
Ah, gosh, movement. Well, I will tell you, my least favorite is quickly becoming my favorite, and it's taken me 8 years to get there. So I am terrible at lunges. Lunges to me are, from my body mechanics, I look like a little baby giraffe trying to stand up for the first time. I mean, my legs collapse, my knees go in, and I really focus on them. And I'm like, why can't I do a lunge? I don't get this. I see them every day. And then it's going back to that coaching. So I actually had 2 different coaches. I want to do a lunge. I want to do a lunge properly. So we went through all the mechanics of a lunge. You think it's a relatively easy movement. It's not. There's a lot that goes into a good lunge. And so as they coached me through that, and they said, the different things that I need to focus on, and foot placement and contractions and core, and I've really gotten pretty good at them. But it's taken me a long time. So it's more about just slowing down, getting myself set, understanding what the mechanics of that exercise are, and then going forward. So my least was lunges, but it's quickly becoming one of my favorite because I'm getting them finally.
I love that so much. And that's just a good, coaching moment for our audience as well. If you work on yourself and focus in and put yourself out there and get some coaching along the way, you can take a weakness and actually turn that into a strength, which is really the takeaway that I got there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last few questions. This is a local Orange County health and wellness show. You live up in North County, Orange County. So aside from boot camp, what would be a very special place that we could find you hanging out and relaxing? And I love that question, just to be able to kind of showcase this beautiful county that we live in, and there's always some good gold there, and probably a good recommendation for our audience who maybe hasn't visited one of your special places.
Okay, so you will always find me every morning almost that I'm not coaching at the Yorba Regional Park. It is the most beautiful park. It has lakes in it. It's it's probably a 5-mile walk around. There's different trails throughout it. And every day I go there, almost every day, and I take my walk and I just, get my center that person again. So Yorba Regional Park is amazing. It's if you haven't been there, check it out. I like introducing people to it because they're like, wow, this is right in Yorba Linda. And I'm like, yep, it's right here. And just walk right up to it. And then I like going out and just having meals with my kids. So you'll see me, out with my boys, and yeah, I've been here for 35 years. So it's my home.
There you go. All right, my last question for you, and this is for an audience member who's listening to this, and they know they need to change. They're listening to this, they're inspired, they're saying, okay, I need to get in shape, I need to feel better, I need to think better, I need to be a better, mother or father. and they know they need to take that next step, but for whatever reason, they're hesitant to basically pick up that phone, reach out to us, and basically join our Fit Body program. What's your parting piece of wisdom for that person?
Wish I had the $1 million answer on that one, but I would just say the hardest part of this entire process, the hardest part is opening up the door and walking in. That's it. You just got to get yourself to that point. Drive up, get out of the car, open it up, and walk through the doors. Because once you walk through those doors, you're going to be so happy. You're going to be so happy. It's easy from that point forward. It's just getting to that point. So I wish I knew how I could tell every single person that it's doable, it's achievable. It's not, it's something that you can attain relatively easily. Just open up that door and walk through.
Love that. The heaviest piece of equipment that you're probably ever going to achieve at Fit Body is that door on the front end. And I appreciate you, Coach Kathy, for really providing insight. And before we wrap today, I just want to take a second to acknowledge you. So grateful for you being in my life, Tatiana's life, our team at both Yorba Linda, where you started, and then in Mission Viejo now, which is your new home. Just the way you show up, the energy that you bring, the care, the compassion, just watching you today connect with clients, introducing yourself, making them feel welcome. And your own journey is just so inspiring. We all go through challenges and trials and tribulations, and you certainly have gone through a lot in a short period of time, which is a topic for another day. But the way you keep on fighting those and taking a step forward,
thank you.
It's inspiring
Make me
for
cry.
me. It's inspiring for our audience, and it's mostly inspiring for our clients that you care for. So I wanted to acknowledge you and thank you so much for showing up.
And you guys know what you and Tatiana have done for me too. So it's just been life-changing, and I appreciate it too.
You got it. And by the way, this episode, I'm not even kidding you, is a 10 out of 10. So Tatiana, I know you're going to watch this. It's your turn soon. If Coach Kathy just crushed it and added so much value, and I know you're going to do the same. But in all seriousness, I want to wrap on that today.
Okay.
Friends, I know you got a ton of value. Assuming you did, give us a like, give us a subscribe on YouTube, write us an amazing review in iTunes, and even better yet, drop your biggest takeaway in the comment. We'd love to engage with you. We'd love to coach you. We'd love to see you in our mats here in Mission Viejo Fit Body. So until next time, we'll see you in the next episode. And Coach Kathy, thanks again.
You're welcome. See you soon. See you on the mats.
See you on those gray mats.